Welcome to ihnani.com. Computer Programming. Level 2. Video 2. In the previous video on Computer Programming, Level 2, I spoke about what is programming, and ended it by saying that computers do not understand English, or for that matter, any language we humans speak. I also said that computers only understands the language of zeros and ones. If you have used a computer for any purpose till now, you will not agree with what I am saying, since you have been using the computer mostly in English or any other languages that you know. You would have watched movies, listened to songs, created documents, sent emails, browsed a lot of websites, and even our site, to watch this video in one of the human-readable languages. Also, if you have written a program, or even seen somebody doing it, you might have noticed that, even they, have not been using the language of zeros and ones. Your next argument would be that, even if you agree that there are people who knows this language of zeros and ones. Looking at the second point I said, that the instructions should be precise, you might be wondering that it will be next to impossible to even write a simple computer program. If what I am saying is true, today, to use a computer, you need not know how a computer works, or for that matter what language does it speak. All you need to do is simply turn on a computer, and when it is ready, use the mouse and keyboard to point at some little graphical object on the screen. Click a button. Swipe a finger or two, in case of a touch-screen device, to get a computer to do what is required of it. As an example, you can imagine the things that you need to do to browse our site and play this video. The reason computers are so easy to use today is because of the hard work of some programmers who have written the programs for the computers to behave in a certain way. Also, this tutorial is about computer programming, and not about how to use a computer. So, let us get back to know more on programming, instead of speaking on how to use it. Computers doesn't know anything except zeros and ones, called binary language, and remember, not all computers speak the same dialect. That is the reason a program on a desktop computer does not run on an iMac, and vice versa. Let me explain with an example of two blind people, where in the first person, let us call him as person A, knows only English, and the other person, let us call him as person B, knows only Sanskrit. Person A wants person B to draw a sketch. Now, how do you expect these two to communicate with each other? Isn't it difficult? Person A can't even show in writing, since the person B being blind. The only way of communicating is through speech in a known language, and by giving precise instructions. Hence, the only way they both can communicate with each other is by having an interpreter. When the person A speaks in English, the interpreter then translates it into Sanskrit, and repeats it to the person B. When person B says something in Sanskrit, the interpreter again translates and repeats the sentence in English to the person A. Now with the help of an interpreter, both are able to communicate very easily. Interpreter can solve the language problem, but we still have another problem at our hand. That is, person A is asking person B who is blind to draw a sketch, though, this is not something that is impossible, but it is difficult, unless you know how to instruct. Even if person A is able to now communicate, he should know the steps in a proper order and very precisely, otherwise he will get person B to draw something, but not what he would requires. Person A should know every tiny bit of detail very precisely, since person B is blind. He will just follow whatever person A instructs. If person A asks him to draw a line of 1.23 centimeters from a particular point, with a certain degree, person B, without even questioning anything, just does that. If person A knows how to instruct precisely and in a proper order, then person B will draw what person A wants. If we get back to computer programs, and use the same approach as in the above example, everything becomes very simple and easy. Replace yourself with person A, and person B with the computer. Now the first thing you need is an interpreter, and the second is, you should know what you want, and the precise steps that is required, so that you can get the work done. To read or write a binary code, or a program, is unfortunately very difficult for humans. Hence, we have to use some kind of a program that can translate something we instruct in English into binary language and vice versa. These programs, which can translate our instructions in English into binary code, are surprisingly called as an interpreter. Do these translators really understand English? This will be the question that might be running in your mind now. The answer is yes and no. Yes, since we use English words in programming languages, and no, since computers are still not up to that level, so as to understand what we speak, be it in any language. These types of programming languages are known as high-level languages. By using the term languages, I am not referring to languages such as English, French, etc. But I am referring to the languages that we use to write programs, which are then interpreted and converted into binary code, so as to make the computers understand it. These high-level languages are covered in more detail in the coming sections. Let us now look at the binary language in detail. But before we continue any further with binary language, there is something important that we should actually know. They are the bits and bytes. For on how these bits and bytes work, you can find a lot of free video tutorials, training materials, how-to videos and much more at our site www.ignani.com. Check out the forum topic related to this too.